Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today is to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled Memory Making Mum, a book that was published on the 13th of February 2019 by an author who goes by the name of Jessica Smartt. This book is an interesting take, and it was only a couple of months ago when my Auntie Frida, my Theavula, was here from Greece, and we were chatting about her recent holiday where she took her granddaughter and her great-granddaughters to the snow. And she said that at her stage of life, what she wanted to do was to make memories with her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And this book here talks a little bit more about that concept, and it hits you at some point in life that the repetition that we have in our lives, the mundane rituals, whatever we do, matching socks, like listening to a child cry in another room, is what love actually looks like. And it's not really the Instagram version with the perfect fall photo shoot and the colour coordinated outfits, and it's just the mundane, the simple things that we do from day to day that really matters. And you always ask yourself the question, will your children, your grandchildren ever remember these things? Jessica Smartt's book, Memory Making Mum, will find you in a particular space, the one that sits between loving your kids, your grandkids fiercely, and feeling like you're failing them on a daily basis. This book is not another expert telling you what you're doing wrong, but it's a mum who also is covered in spaghetti sauce and doubt, trying to find out if the ordinary love we're giving, or they're giving, is enough to become the extraordinary memories our children and grandchildren will carry forever. So let's see what we can take from this book, what we can learn, and what we can incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, wisdom, and potential power, and make us better grandparents, better parents, and better people, I guess, overall. So the key message to come from this author is where she reminds us, she reminds her authorship, her readership, that the moments you think that don't matter are usually the ones that they will remember best. the author here, Smartt, makes one see that tradition isn't something you manufacture with elaborate plans. It's the mismatched socks your daughter or granddaughter insists on wearing for luck. The way your son saves the last bite of dessert for tomorrow, or the random dance parties in the kitchen whenever your song comes on. These aren't interruptions to memory making, they actually are the memories. And like most people, we're busy trying to create magic that helps you or forces you to miss the magic that is already happening in our lives. Another question that comes to mind from this book is where we look at failure, and the author here reminds us that your failures might become their absolute favourite stories, which is an interesting way to look at life. The camping trip that was a complete disaster, for example. The birthday cake that collapsed. The Christmas where nothing went to plan. Smartt shows us that our kids don't need us to be perfect. And interestingly, she says they really just need us to be real, which is a profound and powerful point. Our kids, our grandkids, what they really need from us is for us to be real, because the beautiful disasters are where the best stories actually live. So what happens is, once you start reading this book and start going through it, you start to stop to apologize for our messy and imperfect attempts and start seeing them as the texture, the beautiful texture that makes our family ours. The author goes on to also say that every tradition is a love letter they'll read later. So nothing goes to waste. When we light candles at dinner, we're teaching reverence. When we do bedtime gratitude, we're cultivating wonder. And Smartt helps us understand that these small rituals aren't just nice. They're how we whisper to our children's soul about their place in something bigger. They're how we teach them that they're safe, that they're seen, and that they're cherished, that they belong. We also then move on to look at the fact that your family's weird is basically saying that your family is wonderful and that we're different from other families so that we can be different for other families. Maybe your traditions aren't Sunday dinners and game nights. maybe their Tuesday afternoon walks, or breakfast for dinner, or the ways you always stop for donuts after dental appointments. Smartt gives us the permission to stop comparing our rhythms to everyone else's, and to see that our quirky, unconditional and unconventional way of loving is exactly what our kids absolutely need. Your story doesn't need to look like anyone else's to be beautiful. Memory making mum changes how we see the work we're doing in the margins, the carpool conversations, the bedtime rituals, the 1,000 small moments we think are just survival. Smartt helps one understand that this is indeed the holy work, that your presence, even when you're tired and imperfect, is writing love into your children's bones in ways you won't see until years from now. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this magical summer's morning here in Sydney, where we've been through a beautiful book, the book that is entitled Memory Making Mum, which could also be entitled Memory Making Dad, Memory Making Granddad, Grandmum, Uncle, Aunt, whoever you are, because we're all invited to create memories with our children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, cousins, and everyone we touch in our lives. And as the author says, the key is just to be present and to be real, and not to try and to be perfect, because it's being present and just being with them along the journey that makes all the difference. Take care, wishing you all the best, and bye for now.